From microwaving your phone to freezing it, shaking it too much, and even how charging at the wrong time can fry it. Here are 20 of the biggest smartphone mistakes you should avoid, ranked from the least dangerous to the downright most deadly. Starting off with why you should never use rice to dry your phone. So people usually think that rice actually quickly absorbs moisture around it, but it actually doesn't. When you put your phone in rice, tiny rice grains can actually sneak into the USB port, get into the speaker grills, and actually damage them. I mean, you're basically putting your wet phone in a bowl of crumbs and hoping for the best. Instead, what you should do is just turn your phone off and put it next to a fan. That's it. It'll dry off way quicker than if you put it in rice. The only reason people tell you to put your phone in rice is to stop you from using it, because back in the day, you could accidentally short-circuit your phone. But remember guys, rice is for eating, not for tech. Then for number 2, this one's actually super scary. Hello? So if you get a call from a stranger, a big mistake is to talk to them for longer than 30 seconds.
Hello there.
And why you shouldn't do this isn't because they'll track you or steal your information. They can't really do that, but it's because they can actually record and steal your voice. What's crazy is scammers only need 30 seconds of you talking to completely clone your voice. It's that quick. So they might ask you fake survey questions or pretend to be customer support just to keep you talking. Then they create an AI voice clone and it sounds so good that you can't even tell the difference between it and your real voice. And just like that, someone can impersonate you whenever they want. Crazy stuff. But you know what? That's not even the scariest part. Because for number 3, you should never charge your phone in direct sunlight. So charging naturally heats up your phone a little, right? But if you leave it in direct sunlight to charge, your phone can hit up to 120 degrees, which is the danger zone. And if you have a thick case on your phone like this, the heat gets trapped even more, turning your device into a mini oven. Ooh. Not only can too much heat permanently degrade your battery or cause it to swell, but it can even damage your phone's screen, like give it screen burns, cracks, or even warp. Luckily, most new phones can detect when they're overheating and will automatically stop charging, but if yours doesn't, you might not notice the damage until it's too late. So yeah, just never charge in direct sunlight, it's just straight up bad. But here's another thing you should never do, is put your phone in a microwave, because I'll explain why at the end. Now let me show you why you should never put your phone in the freezer. And yeah, it doesn't matter how hot it gets from charging in the sun or from gaming, freezing just straight up won't help it and could actually again damage the battery. And trust me, people have definitely tried this. But besides the battery getting damaged or swelling, the worst part is when you take the phone out the freezer, the warm air around it can actually cause condensation inside your phone, kind of like a cold drink on a hot day. And that condensation can damage the inside of your phone without it ever touching a drop of water. And remember, rice can't save your phone either, so just don't put it in the freezer. Okay, next. You know those gorgeous pics you take of yourself? Well, did you know if you send them to a stranger, whether it's on WhatsApp as a document, airdrop, email, or almost any other method, the person on the other end can dig into that photo's details and find your exact location? Scary. So let's say you sent a picture you snapped at home. All they gotta do is open that pic, swipe up, and then the pic's metadata is your location, like right there. But thankfully, it's super easy to avoid this. On a Samsung, just swipe up on your pic, click the edit button, and right over here, you can remove the address. And on an iPhone, when you click the share icon at the top under options, make sure you toggle off location. Simple, right? But guess what? That's not the only way someone could track your location. Because for the 6th thing you should never do on your phone is open up random links from random people. And it's not just because of viruses, but it's because opening them can actually easily expose your location. How it works is on a website called Grabify. So someone can paste in any link and then mask that link to look like a harmless website, but then send it to you. When you click it, it seems totally harmless, but they've actually attached a tracking code to it. This code then lets them see when you opened the link, where you opened it, how you opened it, and even your internet service provider. Like, what the heck? These links are quite tough to spot, so the safest thing to do, just never open random links. But now for number 7. If you ever get a phone call from a stranger and they hang up before you can answer, never phone them back, because it could end up costing you a ton of money. And here's how it works. Scammers use premium rate numbers, so when you call them back, it racks up a huge bill, and the scammers actually get a cut of that money. And you might be wondering, how do they even get your number in the first place? Well, chances are you typed it into some random website ages ago, forgot about it, and that site ended up selling your info to scammers. So that's why for mistake number 8, you should never put your info into random websites. Because you'll never know which one of these sites sell your info straight off to scammers. So like when you sign up for free Wi-Fi at the mall, when you do shopping on a dodgy website, or book a holiday on a site you've never heard of. But there's actually a super easy way to avoid this and fix it too. And before I show you what it is, let me explain to you how it works. You see, when you sign up somewhere, what that website does is stores all your information inside a database that can then get sold to scammers. But there's actually a way to find where your personal data is floating around on the internet and delete it. And how that's done is by crawling the internet's deepest places and removing all your info. And you might be wondering how you can do that. Well, you don't. Instead, something called Incogni does it for you. Like, I started using it months ago, and so far they've removed my personal details from 186 sites. And now no shady person can get my number and call me. So if you've made the mistake of putting your information into some dodgy websites, try Incogni out and take back all your personal data. You can also use code Hayls to get 60% off your first year, which is so sweet. But now, onto mistake number 9. And that is to never carry your phone in your back or breast pocket. And the reason why is not what you think it is. Firstly, if you ever put your phone in your back pocket, yeah, there is the possibility you could actually sit on it and seriously damage it. But it's also a lot easier for someone to just straight up steal it. So just don't put it in your back pocket, okay? Then why you should never put your phone in your breast pocket is simply because it is a lot easier for it to fall out and break when you bend over. Obviously. And don't act like you haven't done it. Then something else you should never do that you'd least expect to break your phone is shake it. Why? Because shaking your phone too hard for too long can actually break a bunch of stuff. Like your camera stabilizers, for example. Some components could also disconnect and stop working, like your screen connector, which is really bad because your screen will just totally not work. Or even worse, you could damage your accelerometer and gyroscope sensors, which is a fancy way of saying you could mess up your screen's orientation and even navigation apps like Maps, plus a bunch of other things you probably use every single day. Bottom line, there is just so much that can go wrong, so just never shake your phone. But speaking of things to avoid, you should never avoid software updates. I know a lot of us kind of make it a habit to leave updates for later or just straight up skip them, especially if you're on Android. But it is actually dangerous. And why? Well, viruses like spyware, ransomware, adware, all the wares actually get updated to bypass old security software. So if your phone's software gets outdated, you're basically making it vulnerable to newer viruses. And this is actually why Android phones usually get smaller but more frequent updates compared to iPhones, because technically it is easier for them to get a virus. Just saying. And speaking about viruses, there's a lot of ways you can get them. Just like how you can pick up a virus if someone sick around you coughs or sneezes, ew. It's basically the same with your tech. So like if you plug your phone into a random PC or laptop that has a virus, your phone could actually pick up that virus. And that's because some computer viruses are made specifically to spread to the USB port. So whenever something like a hard drive, flash drive, and even a phone connects to a sick PC or laptop, the virus will duplicate itself to whatever is connected. So that's why for number 12, you should never plug your phone into a random PC. But you should also never charge your phone using a cheap charger. And that's because they can literally start a fire. You see, when you get a cheap charger, it's cheap for a reason. And most of the time, that reason is it's missing safety components to save on costs. And those safety components are usually there so that the charger doesn't overheat and potentially start a fire or damage your phone's battery. Yikes. So one of the best ways to tell if it's a dodgy charger is to see if it's missing this CE mark. that means it's actually passed safety regulations in Europe. If you're in the States, just look for a UL or ETL mark. But honestly, your best bet is to just buy from well-known brands and good stores. Then another 2 ways you can damage your phone while charging it is number 1, if you plug it into a public charging port, you could actually be giving someone access to it without even knowing it. How this works is you can unknowingly connect to a PC, and if you specifically have an Android phone, someone could just snoop around and actually see your photos and files. What? So always try to use your own charging brick or cable. You could even use a nifty power bank and just try to never use public charging ports. You should also never charge during a thunderstorm. And that is because when you put your phone on charge and lightning strikes nearby, that lightning strike could overcharge the entire electrical grid and basically fry everything connected to the plug, like your phone. And you would think a surge protector like this one could save your phone, but actually not really. And that's because a lot of the time lightning strikes carry so much power that they'll literally just fry both the surge protector and anything else connected to it. So just play it safe and never charge your phone during a thunderstorm. But before I show you what happens if you put your phone in a microwave, here are the most dangerous things you should definitely not do on your smartphone. Starting off with never using public Wi-Fis. Because check this out, if you're using a public Wi-Fi, hackers on the exact same network can actually intercept your data, see what websites you're visiting, and even steal your logins if you're not careful, okay? So unless you want all your browsing and search history leaked, then this is something you should never do. But there's actually a super simple fix for this that a lot of people use, and that's a VPN. Because what a VPN does is masks every single website you visit so that literally no one can see what you're searching for, especially on public Wi-Fis. Next, you should never open random email attachments. And I'm sure you've heard this one before, but what you haven't heard is what happens if you did. And this one is quite scary because something as simple as opening a PDF can literally steal all your info from your browser. All of it. And what's actually crazy is this happened to a really big tech YouTuber where they took over his entire channel, so that is why I never open random email attachments. But what's even more dangerous is to use a frayed or exposed charging cable like this. And trust me, I know we've all been there and done that, but if you have a frayed charging cable, throw it away right now. Because if it's this bad, there's like a 50% chance it could ruin your smartphone battery and even start a fire. And that's because, depending on what it's plugged into, the exposed wires could accidentally touch each other, cause a spark, heat up, and out of nowhere, you got yourself a fire.
Oh Lord Jesus, it's a fire.
So do yourself a favor and just never use a frayed charging cable. But also never use a cable from a stranger. And this one will shock you. So this might look like a regular charging cable, but believe me, it's not. If you plug this cable into your phone and into your computer, it can steal a bunch of your info in a few different ways. Firstly, it can run code to extract data from your phone, like any passwords you type in or even messages you've sent. And secondly, it can create its own Wi-Fi so that someone can connect to your phone without you even knowing it. And how it works? It is jam-packed with a bunch of components that you'd never find in a regular USB cable. But luckily, it only works when you plug it into a computer, but still, kind of freaky. And the craziest part is anybody can actually go buy these cables, even though they're specifically made for ethical hacking. And by far, the most dangerous thing you should never do with your phone, iPhone 13, is put it inside a microwave. And here's why. Ready? Okay, everything's fine. We're microwaving a phone. It's all good. It's all good. Oh, we got some sparks. It's on fire! I see a flame. This thing is burning up. I was expecting more of an explosion, not a bonfire. Okay, I think I'm going in. Safety first, kids! Oh, wrong one. Oh.
Wait.
Absolute toast. Okay, let's approach with caution. Oh, that thing is toast. What have we done? What have we done? let's see if this bad boy still works. Oh my goodness! That is fried more than KFC chicken. Okay, as you guys can see, this is absolute toast. I was gonna try and see if this phone still works, but obviously it doesn't. And yeah, that's why you should never microwave your smartphone. So that's the first time I've ever destroyed tech on my channel, but I just wanted to show you guys how dangerous it can be. What's even more dangerous than that though, is if you guys don't subscribe to help me reach 3 million. I'll see you guys in the next one. Doodles!